When you think of serial killers, infamous men like Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer might come to mind. But some of the most chilling crimes in history were committed by women. These female killers used charm, deception, and at times unspeakable cruelty to carry out their horrifying acts. From the angel of death, who preyed on unsuspecting patients, to a woman who lured victims with her grandmotherly appearance, their brutality is as shocking as it is disturbing. What drives these women to kill, and how did they manage to evade capture for so long? Let's uncover the darkest stories of true crime history. Case number 10, Aileen Wuornos. Aileen Wuornos, often referred to as America's first female serial killer, murdered 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990. Born into a troubled family and enduring a traumatic childhood, Wuornos turned to prostitution to survive. Her victims were men she claimed had either assaulted or attempted to assault her, but the ferocity of her crimes revealed a chilling lack of remorse. She shot each of her victims at close range, stealing their belongings afterward. Wuornos' trial and eventual execution by lethal injection sparked debates about justice, mental health, and the role of trauma in shaping a killer. Her case remains one of the most infamous examples of female serial murder in modern history. Case number 9, Nanny Doss. Dubbed the Giggling Granny, Nanny Doss's cheerful demeanor masked a horrifying truth. Over decades, she poisoned 11 family members, including 4 husbands, her mother, her sister, and her own grandchildren. Doss used arsenic to carry out her murders, often for financial gain through life insurance policies. Her charming, grandmotherly appearance allowed her to avoid suspicion for years, even as those close to her mysteriously died one after another. Her eventual confession shocked the public, as she openly laughed and joked about her crimes. Doss's story is a chilling reminder of how appearances can deceive and how far some will go for personal gain. Case number 8, Dorothea Puente. Dorothea Puente, the death house landlady, operated a Sacramento boarding house that catered to elderly and vulnerable tenants. Behind her grandmotherly facade, Puente drugged and murdered her tenants, burying their bodies in her backyard while continuing to collect their Social Security checks. The shocking truth came to light in 1988 when police, investigating a missing tenant, discovered human remains on her property. Neighbors were horrified to learn the kindly woman they knew was capable of such calculated cruelty. Puente's case highlighted the dangers of unchecked greed and the lengths some will go to exploit those who cannot defend themselves, leaving a grim legacy of betrayal and deceit. Case number 7, Elizabeth Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess of Hungary, is considered one of history's most prolific killers, with legends claiming she murdered hundreds of young girls in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. Bathory's crimes are shrouded in myth, including the claim that she bathed in her victims' blood to preserve her youth. While some historians believe these stories were exaggerated to tarnish her reputation, there is no doubt that Bathory inflicted unimaginable cruelty on her victims, often torturing them before their deaths. Eventually, she was arrested and confined to her castle, where she lived out the rest of her days. Bathory's case remains a chilling tale of power, privilege, and unchecked sadism. Case number 6, Kristen Gilbert. Kristen Gilbert, a nurse at a VA hospital, was dubbed the Angel of Death after it was discovered she had murdered patients under her care. Gilbert injected patients with lethal doses of epinephrine, inducing heart attacks, then played the hero by responding to the emergency she created. Her motive was chillingly self-serving. She sought attention and the thrill of medical crises. Her crimes came to light when coworkers noticed a spike in patient deaths during her shifts. At her trial, Gilbert was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to life in prison. The case exposed critical gaps in healthcare oversight, sparking calls for stricter regulations to prevent similar abuses of trust in medical settings. Case number 5, Myra Hindley. Myra Hindley, alongside her partner Ian Brady, committed the Moors murders in the UK during the 1960s, killing 5 children. The couple lured victims by offering rides or asking for help, only to subject them to unspeakable horrors before burying their bodies on the moors. Hindley's role was particularly shocking. She often posed as a caring woman to gain the children's trust. Her relationship with Brady played a significant role in her descent into violence, as he manipulated and encouraged her participation. The discovery of tape recordings and photographs documenting their crimes fueled public outrage. Finley's name remains synonymous with evil in the UK, and the case had a lasting impact on discussions about women's involvement in violent crimes. Case number 4, Belle Gunness. Belle Gunness, often referred to as the Black Widow, lured wealthy men to her Indiana farm with promises of love and financial stability, only to murder them for their money. Her methods were brutal, ranging from poisoning to blunt force trauma. After killing her victims, she would bury their bodies on her property. In a shocking twist, Gunness staged her own death by setting her home on fire, leaving behind a decapitated body to mislead authorities. While her ultimate fate remains a mystery, her crimes shock the nation, and investigators estimate she killed as many as 40 people. Gunness's chilling ability to manipulate and destroy lives left a dark legacy in the annals of true crime history. Case number 3, Rosemary West. Rosemary West and her husband Fred became infamous for their reign of terror in the 1970s, committing numerous murders in their house of horrors in England. Together they abducted, tortured, and killed young women, including their own daughter. Rosemary played a central role in the abuse, displaying a level of brutality that matched her husband's. Their victims were often buried in the garden or under the house's floorboards. Following Fred's suicide in custody, Rosemary stood trial alone and was convicted of 10 murders. The case shocked the nation, not only for its horrifying details, but also for the couple's ability to blend into their community while committing such heinous acts. Case number 2, Juana Barraza. Juana Barraza, a former professional wrestler known as the Old Lady Killer, targeted elderly women in Mexico City during the early 2000s. Posing as a social worker, she gained access to her victims' homes, where she strangled them using items like stethoscopes or tights. Barraza's crimes were fueled by a deep-seated hatred for her abusive mother, which she projected onto her victims. Her reign of terror claimed the lives of at least 16 women before she was caught in 2006. Barraza's arrest and trial captivated Mexico, shedding light on the vulnerabilities of elderly populations and the psychological complexities of female serial killers. Her case remains one of the most infamous in Mexican criminal history. Case number 1, Amelia Dyer. Amelia Dyer, known as the Angel Maker, was one of history's most prolific killers, responsible for the deaths of hundreds of infants in Victorian England. Operating as a baby farmer, she offered to care for unwanted children in exchange for payment, only to murder them shortly after. Dyer's methods were horrifyingly efficient. She strangled babies with tape and discarded their bodies in rivers. Her crimes went unnoticed for years due to the high infant mortality rate of the time. Authorities finally uncovered her atrocities when a body was found with evidence linking back to her. The public was outraged by the scale of her crimes, and Dyer was swiftly tried and hanged in 1896. Her case exposed the dangers of unregulated child welfare practices and led to significant reforms in adoption and childcare laws, leaving a grim but transformative legacy. Which of these cases surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime stories. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.